What is up, guys? I hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're covering, you guessed it, r/am I the butthole. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and maybe that notification bell too, as it all really helps out this channel. It truly does. And a huge thank you to the members of our channel. You are truly appreciated. And yesterday, four people joined the membership. So we have Bonnie Baldridge, Summer, Alana D, and Belinda P. Thank you so much for joining us. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. And with that being said, let's get in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for not wanting to quit my job to look after a baby? Background: my boyfriend, 23 male, and I, 23 male, met at university about 4 years ago and have been together for about 3.5 years. After university, I moved to my home city to get a job, whereas he stayed in the city we met, as he had a placement that offered him a job once he graduated. We lived about half an hour apart. We made it work because we see each other on the weekends, and I take time off in school holidays, etc. I work as a PA for one of the partners in a pretty decent sized law firm, and I've been there since I graduated about 2.5 years ago, and he works in a primary school. I love my job. I get to travel, great benefits and bonuses, and it's a workplace where everyone knows each other and gets along great. I would consider my boss a friend outside of work, since we go out often in groups together. So then we were talking about what we wanted our future together to look like, when and where we'd move in, a pet, things like that. He mentioned children at some point, not necessarily now, but before he turned 30. I've never been too bothered about kids and he knows this. I would have children, but it's never a must, for lack of better wording. Maybe it's because I'm the youngest in my family, so I never grew up with babies or younger children around me, or maybe it's because I'm only in my 20s and haven't really thought about it in that much detail. He then said that, not word for word, you'd have to start getting used to being around a baby, since you're going to be the one looking after it throughout the day. I was taken back. Never have I said I wanted to be a stay-at-home parent or shown any interest in doing that. So I told him that. I said I wasn't going to give up my job to be a stay-at-home parent. I said if it ever came to children, I would take the allowed paternity time off to bond etc with the baby, but I wouldn't be quitting my job. He went off on one saying how I was only a PA, who makes more than him without the bonuses, whereas he was a teacher, shaping the minds of young children and furthering their education. How I was unloving and a monster for not willing to put a baby first, and how it would feel unloved if we just had our parents look after it. I asked why he wouldn't do it, and he couldn't answer, so he went back to shouting and name calling. My argument was that children were never the be all or end all part of my life, and while I would love the baby, I would not put my career on hold. My life, to me, is pretty fulfilled as it is, as I have a great family. I've got nieces and nephews who I love and spend time with, but it's nice to hand them back to my cousins at the end of the day/weekend. Another point I made was how willing would he be to come over and take over from me on an evening when he had been around 30 young children all day and then coming home to one. So am I the arsehole for not wanting to give up my job for a baby that doesn't even exist yet? What I'm finding confusing in this, I know he's a teacher and I know he says he's shaping minds and all that sort of stuff, but there's plenty of other teachers out there, you know, someone who will fulfill his place. So I don't get quite what his point is, that he's basically saying his job is more important. And especially when the OP has told his partner that it's not the sort of thing he was really looking for in life and he'd rather keep his job, and he gets upset and starts shouting at him about it. I think that's a bit of a red flag to me. I'm not sure about you. You'd have to let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner. Our next story is from It's My Damn Tooth. Am I the arsehole for being furious that my boyfriend used a keepsake of mine for his art without permission? I've had this shark tooth ever since I was maybe 11. I found it on the beach on vacation. At the time it was just cool, because what are the chances to just walk on a random beach and find a shark tooth? In time it became an important emotional keepsake for me that reminded me of all the good parts of my childhood. Honestly, most of it wasn't very good, so extra important. I just really like this stupid tooth. Whenever I was upset, I would just rub it in my hands and feel comforted. My boyfriend saw it in my room early on, and I told him this story, and he was like, hey, cool. To be fair, at that point I didn't go into detail, just said it's important to me. Some years went by, we don't live together yet, but most of the time he comes to my place because it's larger. One day a few months back, I was looking for my shark tooth and it wasn't in the 2 or 3 places that it has been. No biggie, I'm honestly pretty messy and often lose stuff somewhere, only to find it in my sock drawer a week later or something. I kept searching, confident it would resurface, but it has never left my flat. After 2 weeks or so, I began to worry, took my vacuum cleaner apart and started panicking about maybe having dropped it in the trash somehow and that it may have been gone for good. Eventually my boyfriend is over and notices that one of my drawers is kinda messy. Because I had gone through it and searched every nook, I tell him I can't find the tooth, and he was like, "Ooh, that's a shame, I'm sure you'll find it." I didn't notice any weird vibes, so I guess he's got a good poker face. One more week, he says over text, "Okay, I need to tell you something, don't be mad," and sends me a picture of some art project, and it has my shark tooth in it. Apparently, he had to do a sculpture type thing for university, and it's like a Viking ship that is made half out of seashells, driftwood, etc., with my tooth as the centerpiece. And he tells me he saw the tooth in my flat when he was over and I was in the shower, so he put it in his pocket to ask me later, then forgot about it, and when he rediscovered it at home, he supposedly thought it was part of some other material he'd gotten elsewhere and just went ahead and used it. He claims he didn't remember until it was too late, so I tell him he's going to give it back to me ASAP. And he goes, well, it might take a few months because it's in an exhibition, and I also use super glue, so he doesn't know if he can get it off. I was just done with the conversation and stared at the wall for like 30 minutes. After I calmed down a bit, I now genuinely am not sure if I'm overreacting or not. Like, yeah, it's just a tooth, but he didn't ask me. I can't believe that he doesn't remember our short conversation a few years ago about it. But who just takes something from someone's bedroom and slaps it on their artwork without saying anything? I feel like if I see him in person, I'd have to struggle to not flip out. Am I the arsehole for reacting so strongly? Firstly, top tip, use acetone, that will dissolve the glue. And if it ruins his artwork, that's a bonus. And the whole bullshit of, I was putting it in my pocket to ask you later, what the fuck? No one does that, he was doing that on purpose, he was stealing from you. And if that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. And on top of that, he's just lying to you in between things as well, so yeah, the guy is a total arsehole. But not you, OP. You are not the arsehole in this situation, and the way you're reacting is perfectly fine. But what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner. Our next story is from Gay Not Ashamed. Am I the arsehole for kicking out my disabled mother out of my house because she isn't accepting of my gay relationship? My mother is widowed, without many funds and suffering from heart failure, with an ejection fraction of less than 50% and a bunch of other stuff wrong with her. She isn't eligible for a transplant for a number of reasons, and at this point, according to the optimistic doctors, she has another 10 years left. Before her diagnosis, she had a lot of money saved for retirement, but since then, to pay for all the medical expenses she has and her expensive meds on a monthly basis, she has to sell her home and move in with me, her only child. So I've been letting her live with me rent-free for about 3 years now, since she fell sick. Things have been mostly fine, but that's because I haven't been in a relationship during this time. I've had relationships in the past that would end because of my fear of my parents finding out, who were always extremely homophobic, especially my mum. My mum isn't homophobic with the excuse of religion, she just blatantly hates the entire LGBT movement and has said some incredibly hurtful things over the years without knowing I'm gay that has stuck with me all my life. She's also racist, but she's my mother, so I accepted her into my home because she didn't have anywhere else to go, as no extended family could or were willing to accommodate her. A few months ago, I met my current boyfriend, we'll call him Steve. I decided that I have some balls and tell my mum that I'm gay, and introduce Steve to her afterwards, judging by her reaction. Since she literally lives with me, I thought just maybe she could sit and bear it, and then find out for herself that her entire worldview is wrong, after seeing us together for a while. Not only did she tell me she's disappointed in me and started crying about how she should have raised me better, she told me I was going to catch AIDS and die if I stayed with him. I told her she has a month to find other living accommodation and that she can't stay here, and that I don't care where she goes as long as she gets out of my house. I said this calmly and gave her notice to find some place, so I think I didn't do anything wrong. But other members of my family think that I've practically made my mother homeless, and since no one else wants to accommodate her and she has no funds and severe disability, she'll end up in a shelter. Honestly, it's not my problem anymore. I'm sick of sacrificing for her when she can't even accept me for who I am. So if she's homeless, she had it coming. But anyway, do you think I'm the arsehole? Edit, sorry if this wasn't clear, but she met Steve a week after I originally came out. There's some extra info in my comments if you want some more background on my childhood or her beliefs. It wouldn't fit in the word count if I pasted them all here. The really annoying thing about this one is that everyone complaining at you afterwards, or your family saying that you're kicking her out and you're making her homeless, yet none of them will accept her into their household. What the fuck logic is that? I think you got every right to do what you feel here. It's your house and your mum isn't accepting who you are, and it's going to make your life hell if it continues, so you haven't got much choice in this matter, I don't think. And you're giving her a grace period to find somewhere else. I think that's more than she could ask for, to be quite honest. What do you guys think about this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner. Our next story is from Equal Fruit. Am I the arsehole for losing my shit on my sister for telling our mother about my personal life? I'm a widower with an 8-year-old son. His teacher is new in our town. She only arrived last September and lives in our block. We're practically next door neighbours. Like, if we're out on our balconies, we can see each other and talk. She obviously knew no one here, so over these past few months, and especially during the lockdown, we grew kinda close. We had a bit of a moment the other day. I asked her out, she said yes, but we both decided to wait until the school year was over. I called my sister to tell her, and she called me an arse. She said I shouldn't be doing that to my son, because it's not uncommon for boys his age to develop crushes to their teacher, and that I don't want to make things complicated for him. I told her that she doesn't know what she's talking about, because I was sure my son couldn't care less, since he already had a crush on a classmate of his, and I also wasn't asking for advice, I was calling her with some good news. She doubled down and told me that I was being irresponsible because 8-year-olds can be very fickle and get 3 different crushes in 1 week, so I shouldn't count on him not becoming jealous of me. I told her that was it with this discussion and I'd hear no more. If his teacher thought there'd be no problem, then there was no problem. She apparently thought that wasn't a good enough point either, because since she isn't the most experienced teacher, she's 25 and has only been working for a couple of years, and then started saying how she's too young for me anyway. I'm 35, and that I always try to date younger, and that maybe it's time to look for women my age. She wasn't aggressive with that remark, but it still stung, and I was already a bit riled up from what she had said previously, so I told her that I had enough, and I hung up before I lost my temper. 2 hours later, my mum called me and started saying the same things, parroting my sister. I tried to calm her down and promised that I'd be extra careful, and that I'd break up at the first sign of trouble. But then I immediately called my sister and, yeah, it wasn't pretty. I told her that she should never involve my mother in this, and that is the last thing I wanted to have her following my disappointing love life so closely. I may or may not have called her various names, but I felt that she had no right to do that, and it was a huge breach of trust. I don't get the sister's logic in this about the whole developing crushes thing. 8-year-old boy developing crushes on teachers. I know some people get crushes on teachers and stuff, but what? What is this logic? Lots of people in the comments on this thread are saying how they think it would be probably weird to date a teacher like that, but I really don't see the issue. Am I the only one who's like not seeing an issue here? I know someone's got to date teachers, right? Oh god. Guys, let me know what you think about this one in the comments below. It's one of these ones where I'll just sit here with a what the fuck face. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner. Our next story comes from an alt account. Am I the arsehole for bowing out of my best friend's wedding party after she demoted me from maid of honour? Hi there Reddit, this past Saturday I think I may have screwed up a good relationship in my life. My 25 female best friend Krista, 25 female, got engaged last July and has a wedding plan for this December, virus allowing it. She and I have been best friends since we were 14. She's even my son's godmother. Our families are close and it feels like I have 2 sets of parents at times. When she got engaged, she asked me to be maid of honour and I accepted. Krista has an older sister, Megan, 29 female, who is estranged from the family. Basically, Megan lived a very party girl lifestyle and burned a lot of bridges with her family from ages 20 to 28. Now she's been going to programs for alcohol dependency and is trying to make amends. She and Krista began speaking to each other again last November, after being in no contact for 2 years. This past weekend, Krista and I were talking wedding plans. We've been doing some homemade decor for the wedding and were brainstorming other ideas, when she decided to drop this bomb on me. She brought up Megan being at the wedding and accommodating her in, since they were repairing their relationship. I thought that sounded great, until Krista asked me to step down as maid of honour, so Megan can step in. She said it's important to Megan, since it's her only sister's wedding. I would still be allowed to be a bridesmaid and help with the wedding, just not maid of honour. I asked Krista why she thought it okay to bench me in favour of Megan, and why being a bridesmaid wasn't good enough for Megan, and she said it's tradition for a sister to be maid of honour and it's what she wanted. I've already helped her pick out a dress and decor, and I was looking forward to planning a bridal shower if things calm down in time. I told Chris that Megan can have the maid of honour seat, but I won't be a bridesmaid if she thinks I'm so easily set aside. I would still attend the wedding since I still care about her and my son is ring bearer, but I have no intention of helping any further with planning. Krista said I was being selfish and making the wedding about me and should be happy for her and her sister reconnecting. But I don't want to be in the wedding party with Megan now. If I'd originally just been a bridesmaid, I wouldn't care if Megan was maid of honour, but I still feel set aside and like the last 11 years of friendship has devalued. We haven't talked about it since. Am I the arsehole for stepping down as maid of honour and settling for bridesmaid? Now this is just a bit of a messed up situation. I think I can understand where this Krista is coming from, you know. She wants her sister to be a part of her life, and if she's trying to make an effort, then this is a good way for them to bond. But I can also see why you would be put out in this situation, because, you know, you were selected to be maid of honour. And to have that taken away, it's got to hurt your feelings, right? Also, I can also see that you're making it slightly about you at the same time. I don't know if I'm wrong here. You guys will have to let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you have, there's another one on your screen as I speak right now. As always, thank you for the time out of your day. It's amazing that you do this for me. Truly amazing. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, subscribe, and don't forget to click that notification bell too, and I will see you in the next one. Much love.